Spatvark that has a little bit of a challenge, saying list of other animals that Mario can turn into: a bee, bunny, flying squirrel, frog, penguin, raccoon, and tanuki. I guess a cat is fine too. But now it's time for Mario to turn into a kart racer supreme. We've got Abney, we've got Mario Kart 64. Let's see this amazing run.
All right. Hello, everyone. We are about to do some 150cc all cups with skips. Gonna go through all 16 tracks here. I'm abney317. I've got on commentary with me Jones, DNTN31, and Weatherton. So I'm ready to count it down here.
Looking forward to it. Excited to see some large skips.
Yeah, let's do it. In 3, 2, 1, go.
All right,
Even
so
larger skips than normal, actually.
the largest of all the skips. So we're gonna get started off immediately with some large skips here. Abney's gonna be going to this first set of item blocks, and he's going to fish for some items, as you will see in a lot of these attempts. Star is absolutely the worst case scenario, and then also terrible RNG here with the gold trim. Ideally, Abney would be looking for triple red shells or even triple mushrooms with some of the hot new strats coming out.
But he still has a shot here, so he's holding on to that gold shroom because he can use that for a new clip just discovered in the last year.
Yeah, that's right. He's going to be coming up here to the finish line, and he's going to be looking to perform a lap skip with this gold trim.
This is on the Japanese version of the game only. You can do this. He can actually go around the finish line. Oh,
Great
looks
job.
like you got it.
Awesome.
Yeah. If you see that bounce up, it means you actually went through the wall, bounced off. Looks like you got it.
Didn't get that one.
Oh, shoot. You got one of them. So, yeah. So he actually went through the wall for a frame, and while he was through the wall, he was on the grass on the other side, which is considered far enough away from the finish line that you're able to, for one frame, go around the finish line. Okay, he was trying to use a shell to get over the wall, which is another way to abuse that grass.
We'll move on and drive around on this one.
Yeah, so that attempted blue shell skip is sort of the older strat that you would see with red shells. The mushroom strat is something that was really that's come out in the last year or so. There's been sort of a shortcut revolution in Mario Kart 64 in no small part thanks to Weatherton and also 464. So there's been a ton of new strats in the last year that have come out.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. If you look since August of last year, so under a year, it's almost every course has a new shortcut. Not all of them are RTA viable, but you can see Beck used one there that actually we initially thought maybe wasn't going to be RTA viable in a run like this, especially marathon. That's a very precise skip that he did.
Yeah, it's actually definitely impressive there. It's also probably worth
a crazy one, since especially you got to do it so fast in the full game runs to even be able to make it worth it. So it's hard to set up quickly with it being so precise.
It's probably also worth mentioning that the blue shell that he got there on Luigi Raceway, that's that item block that is held by the balloon. That's always that always contains a blue shell. It's just a special case. So he basically knew. Yeah. Otherwise, it's not possible to get a blue shell in first place.
But it's useful to get one because it homes in on the first place player, so you can ensure you get hit by that blue shell, which is what he wanted to get over the wall. If he'd been able to get over the wall, he would have landed on that grass, which is considered a part of the track further behind the line at that point, based on some other things he'd done. And he would have gotten placed like in front of the line, I guess, so he can drive through it, or behind the line. I guess, not sure how to describe that. But and then he would have triggered a lap because the game didn't think he'd lost a lap. So there's a lot of tricks like that now. There's this thing in memory called last section jump, or at least that's what we call it, which is a fail-safe that the game uses when it sort of loses track of you. And honestly, it's confusing why they built that check into the game, because it's more of a problem than a help for the game to keep track of you. But we were able to abuse it, and do like the Luigi Raceway lap skip, and you'll see something later on Toad's Turnpike uses the same concept.
So a really solid 109 there on Moo Farm. 109 is a really fast, solid, non-shortcut time there. It's probably worth noting that Moo Farm and Koopa Troopa Beach are two of the few courses in the game that actually don't have viable skips in RTA speedruns. But there is one glitch here that Abney will be attempting coming up, which abuses the finish line, and I'll toss it to Weatherton to explain it.
Yeah, so you saw he just got triple reds in first, which is not typically possible. It's not the item he wanted. He wanted a speed item, but he'll get another shot on this next course. So what's happened there is there's this large polygon that actually crosses both in front and behind the finish line plane. And it's the way it's labeled, the game's actually, if you touch that polygon before you cross the finish line, it's considering you to be at the end of the, so we got another 8th place item, but not a speed item. That'll help you catch up to those CPUs, I guess. So if you
overlap them.
You go wide there and touch that polygon before you cross the finish line, but while you still have that item roulette running. The item you get is based on when you press Z to obtain the item, what place are you in at that exact moment?
You just overlap DK, so hopefully he doesn't take offense to that later in the run.
Yeah, he will for sure.
DK is actually the best player in the game, not allowed in speedruns. Too powerful.
I think the phrase is he's absolutely cracked.
So, all right, Calamari Desert. This is actually got an intended shortcut that the developers built in to the game. We'll see if we get some good item luck here. Looking for a star for that, but reds will help as well. So, normally you wouldn't want to go into this tunnel. You're sort of going into a dead end. But there's a few ways to get out of here, and one of them is these red shells that get stuck on the side here when you shoot them. And Beck's able to hit those, and they'll actually still be there the next lap. They're just stuck, waiting for him to come run into them.
Yeah, so that's not the, unfortunately, not the intended one, but...
Right, yeah, the intended one is, the finish line is not very wide on this course, unless you have a star active. If you have a star active, it extends all the way into the tunnel, and that's intentional. It's in like a Miyamoto interview that exists. So you can finish your lap in the tunnel. Strangely, you can't finish the race though in the tunnel.
You'll start to see a theme here. Oh, nice shroom over the fence there.
Yeah, that was solid. Can tell you've had some practice at that, Beck.
Yeah, some practice at that lately.
So up here, he's going to be finishing the cup, and you'll see he's going to do a reset here to skip the not the credits, but the score and end sequence there, and move on to the next cup. So
the all cup skips run, you're allowed to reset as soon as you cross that line. If you're looking to save that gold cup so that you can actually see progress from a blank cartridge, you have to wait till the scores are getting calculated. But it's not required for the rolls on this run.
So Toad's Turnpike is another track that has a new skip here within the last year. Awesome job there.
Yeah, that's not easy to do. He's messing up that last section jump. He's basically messing up that value so he can come back, and the grass is considered pretty far from the finish line right now, but not too far. And by jumping, it's a frame perfect trick right there. He just did twice in a row. That you, perhaps three times in a row. Let's see.
Okay, come on.
Really good Toad's Turnpike here.
Wow.
Oh yeah,
amazing.
That is solid. And right before he gets hit by the truck there. Yeah, so he was actually, as he drove back past the finish line, the frame that he went across the finish line, he also went over the fence. And the game's like, oh, you're over the grass, and the grass isn't close enough to the finish line for me to decrement a lap. So I'll let you slide, basically. But then when he gets put back down, he goes through the finish line, and it counts. So that was what's actually the skip that kind of sparked the whole shortcut revolution back in August. Forest 64 pace. I know we're doing some other tricks here, but just to finish up this story quickly, 464 put a video up where he was doing some things with shells, where he was messing with that last action jump value. And then I reached out to him like, hey, maybe we could do this in time trials. And like 2 hours later, we had a new shortcut.
Solid prep.
So there, that one actually isn't. That's been known for quite a while in Frap Snowland. But that's certainly an odd shortcut, is it?
Easiest shortcut to do if you want to learn a shortcut. That one is a pretty easy one. Just go back to the bridge and jump into the snow and cross the finish line and get stuck, and it skips the whole lap.
I'm not sure if we mentioned this, but it's probably worth noting that Toad's Turnpike, the skip that Abney did in this run, is version specific, and the version that he's using here is the Japanese 1.0 version.
Right. Yeah.
Nice.
So he needs to have Japanese. Yeah, it was a really nice hit there. Getting a big jump like that, you can get 0 frames where there's not a frame available to you to jump without tumbling. But so it takes both skill and a little bit of luck to get over that, and you get a nice jump. We're hoping he gets a mushroom, please.
Yeah, this is infamous, famous course. If you guys have seen the Summoning Salt video on this course, but there's a skip on this course called the Weatherton. They named after partway after Weatherton, who's on commentary here, and Abney is sort of the speedrunner who is more or less mastered it and made it more or less famous. So.
Yeah, I mean, he was the first to hit it on console. Right. I think the first to hit it 2 out of 3, and the first to hit it 3 out of 3. So,
wow.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Solid.
Wow, that's a really good Chaco Mountain.
Solid.
Yeah. I didn't even get to try the second lap because the bananas, but
those are left by DK.
Pretend yeah, DK definitely put those there. His revenge.
So we're coming up on this is the first time we're seeing where Beck really needs a specific item. He really needs red shells here because he wants to jump over this wall here. So the luck hopefully is on our side here. Marathon luck, come on.
Yeah, so there's actually a 20% chance to get red shells in any place between 2nd and 8th, and he got it there on the 2nd try, which is pretty decent odds.
Yeah. Okay. So he did need all 3 for the laps, but he can either maybe grab another red when he goes back over, or just do a non-shortcut lap.
So
yeah, that red went pretty far to the right on me on the throw. When you have the 3 red shells, it's pretty
Beck
random
makes a lot of this
where they'll
look
throw
easy.
from.
Sorry, yeah, Beck makes a lot of this look easy. You go try like that red shell skip, and it's not gonna be as easy as it looks at all.
So you'll see a theme here with a lot of these skips where red shells are very important. And the reason why that's true is because they give you height, and they also maintain some of your forward momentum. So they allow you to basically jump over walls and continue forward. Yeah.
Both the red and blue shell hit you you end up in the same state, so you can go high and you can go relatively far. The green shells do not. It's a different kind of a tumble. It doesn't go as high.
So on Wario Stadium here, we're going to be seeing more wall jumps, similar to what we saw in Chaco Mountain. And this track is another one where basically you're just looping around the finish line, jumping over walls.
Yeah, I'd say the shortcut Beck just did. I'm guessing most folks who played this game either tried that or succeeded at that one. But this one back over, this is harder. Not as obvious that it's possible.
Do you want to talk about 0 frames?
Yeah, so, and honestly, it's not completely understood how those happen, but you see when he's tumbling like that, it doesn't mean that he timed the jump poorly. It means that the frame spacing, we call it. So the frame that he hits the wall, he's either too close or too far from the wall, probably too far into the wall to be able to jump. So instead, the game gives him a tumble. And it's unfortunately, it's pretty much luck.
Yeah, it's not really, it's not technically RNG, but essentially it's not something that someone in RTA can control.
Right.
Yeah.
It is true that like the slower you approach a wall, the less likely it is, but you can still tumble. Go ahead. Beck.
You'll end up you can get used to maybe you'll find like a region where you don't tumble as much and kind of get used to it. But unless you're just like sitting there and lining it up like super precisely, you're not gonna really be able to just guarantee that you avoid that.
So Sherbetland is another track that in RTA speedruns currently there is no real viable skip. However, in time trials within the last year, there was a skip that was made viable because you can just sit there and reset over and over again. You don't have to do it attempted in the middle of a 20-30 minute speedrun. And that again was co-founded or co-discovered by Weatherton and Forrest. But as of right now, there's really no viable setups that we've found for 150.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I've tried to make
you
it.
hit it in 150, right? I mean, you're pretty consistent at it, but just not consistent enough, it seems.
I've tried to make it fast enough to do the Sherbetland shortcut here, but it's just like, it's crazy RNG for one thing. You got to get like a blue shell and then triple shrooms like back to back, and then on top of that, it only saves like 5 seconds. So it's just like not even worth trying, really.
So in time trials, it saves significantly more than that, but
it's pretty nice.
It's a really strange. You actually use these penguins, which I think people always hoped there was a use for the penguins. That was a nice finish, yeah, swag jump. But yeah, you ram into a penguin like as hard as you can twice, and then go flying backwards far enough that the game basically loses track of you and sets that last section jump to a favorable value, and then you can use it for lap skips near the finish line. Yeah, that was
it's pretty confusing to watch because it just looks like you're slamming into a penguin for no reason.
Royal Raceway here is another track that has a new skip that was basically been discovered in the last year, and this is another one where we really need red shells here.
Yeah, red shell. A couple blues would help. Okay, he's going to use the blue.
Looks like we're going to see one blue just to get it.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
So when he turned around and went on the grass, that might have looked like kind of sloppy. Perhaps he was going to a very specific path through that grass to make sure the game is short. And that is not easy at all, right there, to get up on that wall. Yeah. Just barely possible to get on that wall.
And we get to see the old shortcut as well.
The old shortcut.
Some variety here.
This one is noteworthy for being much harder in 4-player than in 1-player, and we still don't know why. You just fall faster, it seems, in 4-player.
There is also a small chance he could get a single red here.
Yeah,
if he shrooms through, he might go for it. No. That's a 5% chance of red, so yeah, it's the least likely item in the game is a 5% chance. That and the boo.
So even with turning around and getting bad RNG, that blue shell skip on the first lap saved them about 3 seconds over the normal old strat. Yeah.
Now, the reason jumping across the moat there puts him on the ramp is he's actually landing on the ground on the other side and then falling in, and that ground is considered like very close to the ramp in terms of the section it's in.
Sub 140? Nice. That used to be before the new skip, sub 140 was kind of like the holy grail of
if you got like multiple mushrooms and
yeah,
it'd be like an insane Royal Raceway.
Now to Bowser's Castle. The level just feels like there should be a shortcut here. There's all these thwomps. And actually the thwomps do set you into the same state as the penguins do. So there's some hope that you could just run into a thwomp in a certain way and it'd throw you really far back. But it seems unlikely.
It's probably also worth talking about the fact that he's playing zoomed out right now. Playing zoomed out actually reduces lag in the game, and Bowser's Castle, along with Calamari Desert and Yoshi Valley and the worst offender of all, DK Jungle Parkway, those tracks actually have so much lag that you're really losing like seconds to if you were playing this on an emulator. So to sort of combat the lag, it actually helps to play zoomed out. And then you saw there while he was dragging a fake item block. There are a few items that when you drag, you actually get zoomed out even further, and that actually decreases the lag even further.
And it actually is a mystery why zooming out makes this game perform better. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't load a lower.
Assume,
Yeah,
they assume it's like lower poly versions of the track getting loaded, but it's really not.
Which does happen if you're far enough back, but zooming out doesn't make it happen earlier. And it doesn't load lower resolution textures. It does, like, we don't know why this happens. And Beck actually you made or found a Game Shark code to zoom super far out, and the game has it has no lag if you zoom really far out.
You just make the character 1 pixel. You can't see anything.
It seems like maybe someday there will be a ROM hack where you can run like 4-player DK Jungle Parkway in 30 frames a second on console.
Yeah.
So it's coming up to the end of the Star Cup here. So we're going to be moving on to the final cup, which is Special Cup. And all but one of the tracks, we should be seeing some large skips.
Large skips.
So
some large lag as well.
Yeah. This is definitely the worst track in the game. I think if you run it side by side, you could lose up to about 10 seconds on this track alone versus
But he gets into this cave pretty early and doesn't really leave the cave in the skips run. So now there's a wall there that has no hit detection for inexplicably. Like, I don't know why, but if you go out and you can cross the finish line as long as you don't go over the floor in the cave, your section stays close to the finish line, so it can trigger. But then you land back in the cave. So
really well done.
Yeah, it was extremely.
Yeah. Wouldn't have minded keeping that banana as well.
Yeah, I was about to say, why did you drop it?
Yeah, accidentally let go of Z.
So you can actually you can reduce lag even further by holding the banana through this ending cutscene here.
Like literally holding Z in the case of a single banana.
You can, as long as you're holding an item behind you during the kind of point screen at the end, you can use the item. You can like let go of it or throw a shell if it's spinning around you.
So on Yoshi Valley, Beck's going to be coming up to this first set of item boxes and going to be fishing for triple mushrooms.
Which you don't want to be in 8th. Yeah, your likelihood of triple mushrooms is higher if you're like in 5th, I think. So he was actually trying to trigger it in like around 5th. So now he's going to do a shortcut that Beck himself discovered. Going the slow way on Yoshi Valley gets the last section jump to a favorable value, so that when you jump across the canyon here, the finish line is to his left. While he's above the floor of the canyon, which is a undefined polygon in terms of its section, he goes over the finish line, and the game's like, sure, I'll trigger the finish. But then he gets placed by the hairpin turn, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Backwards. I don't know if we know why you get placed backwards there, but it doesn't happen too many times.
I think it's you're getting placed pointing toward. Is it that you're getting placed pointing towards the finish line?
I think you're pointed away from it there. Maybe you are. I don't know. I'd have to go look at it again. All right, next,
strange.
Got triple mushrooms, so he's going to jump this fence and do. This is a more traditional lap skip. Hit that line. He hit it. Yeah. That there's a 1,000-unit sphere around the finish line. That when he hits that wall, he just barely gets outside of that sphere. So when he goes back across the finish line, he's outside of that sphere, so the game doesn't decrement a lap.
Saw that DK added another banana for you right there when you got placed down.
It's sitting right in front of me.
Banshee Boardwalk. Now there's new strats on Rainbow Road, but it used to be. This was a course you actually wanted to come in second on, right? Am I remembering correctly?
Well, I guess it was an option to come in third, or I guess second. Second would put you on the left side, so you could come in third and
okay.
Jump off the CPU in front of you. But a lot of the time we would just try to get a heavyweight to come in second, so that we could turn sideways and jump off of them.
Oh, got it. Yes, you might drop a banana or try to influence their path.
Yeah, like I would have DK behind me right now, so I would try to maybe avoid dropping bananas or things that would make DK fall back.
But you can just see how strong the rubber banding is in this game. I mean, you've got the best player in the world not making any mistakes, getting mushrooms, and they're like on his tail pretty much.
Yeah, sometimes they'll get even closer than this. So it kind of, a lot of it just depends on how you're driving the track, I guess. Like you'll even see in like you have a tool assisted run on Bowser's Castle where you're driving perfectly and Bowser is like nearly passing you.
Yeah, that's great. Well,
It's kind of
especially
insane.
Bowser's Castle is a level where it's 90-degree corners, and as long as that character, that CPU player, isn't in your camera, like you can't see them, then they can drive perfect 90-degree corners without slowing down and even drive through walls.
Yeah, the CPUs do a lot of cheating, but I guess I can't complain too much.
Because you do it
As
too? By their
As
rules?
I'm jumping over walls and everything.
On to Rainbow Road, where yes, there's actually a couple of new shortcuts in the last year here, and one of them he's going to be aiming for red shells, whereas if you saw his last time doing this run, he was really looking for green shells, and I think it took a while if I recall, but now he's turning around
Usually
right
does.
away. Turning around right away. We need red shells, ideally 3 of them. I mean, ideally red shells versus blue. Because you can't get a single reds out here. So he's got a blue. That's going to help him get a skip here. Remember, blue and red, they put you in the same state. And he's going to get knocked over this wall. And this is a really strange skip. Okay,
Nice.
so he's going to hold back. He's going to reverse in the air, which is possible because he stops moving. And the game's like, yeah, I'll let you reverse in the air. And you saw him going first there. Yeah.
Backing up.
Yeah, so he backs up under that 1,000-unit sphere of the finish line. You're so far, this level's so tall that he actually reverses under the finish line on this one.
So now that he's a lap ahead, he's going to be fishing for green shells. Or
Oh,
red.
red shell.
or he gets a red. Yeah.
I could, but it's not really useful. I mean, if I got it as my next item, I guess maybe in the race with it.
Nice.
Yeah, so you can see how different that tumble is with the green because he keeps moving forward here. Yeah, just flying forward. The red shell, you kind of stop, and that lets you reverse. And so here he is, right at... Get one more green.
Good thing I didn't hold the green shell behind me.
Yeah, that was... that was
Chomp
close.
coming. I'm gonna watch this guy. I want to get hit while I'm moving.
Those chomps do follow a set path, but you know when you're at a time into the race, at a place in the race that you're not normally at, might as well be random.
And this will be time coming up here.
Yep, right when I hit the finish line, that is the time. So, time.
Great job.
Yeah, great run back.
Yeah, not too bad. Started off, losing a minute or so on Luigi Raceway with the bad items, but not too bad otherwise. Just can roll into the trophy ceremony here. I guess we should maybe shout out the Mario Kart 64 time trial community. If you want to check out the time trial rankings and all the records and all that, it's over at MarioKart64.com. Lots of active players, and it's pretty much as active as it's ever been now, especially with all these new shortcuts and everything. So pretty crazy. But I think that's it for us. Thanks for commentating, guys. Jones and Weatherton.
Thanks for having us. Great run.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Abney, for that amazing Mario Kart 64 run, reminding us that the first way to be good at Mario Kart 64 is to not actually be on the track at all when you play Mario Kart 64. There's a $250 donation, and this is just some of the love that's been coming in for the Mario Kart run. It's from Emily, who says, donating during Mario Kart totally makes up for my being hideously bad at Mario Kart, right? Great job, runners. Also, there is a $50 donation from Carl that says, had to donate during Mario Kart 64 in memory of my grandfather, who would routinely jump walls and smoke me every single time. I love this. A $64 donation from Mick Star Yo that just says, Wahoo! And now may be a good time to take a break and blink or breathe, friends. If you were holding your breath, not blinking during that incredible run, we're going to take a break and be back momentarily. Welcome back, everyone, to Summer Games Done Quick 2021 online, where we're going fast and raising money for Doctors Without Borders. The love still coming in for Abney in the Mario Kart 64 run. Micro 500 contributes $50, saying, always happy to see my friend abney317 on the GDQ stage. Good luck with the run. And we've got a word here from Game Ventures. Game Ventures, a marketplace for gaming challenge contests, aka bounties, crowd-funded campaigns for major feats such as new world records, allow communities to incentivize interest and new discoveries, supports speedrun and score contests at gameventures.org. All right, and since we're getting ready for the Super Metroid race, we've got some amazing donations coming in for saving and killing the animals. There's a $750 donation here from Kite Rider that says, sorry I haven't donated during the last couple of events. This is to make up for lost time. And when I donate, it's always for the incentive on my favorite game since 1994, Super Metroid. Now that we've got some insight on Metroid Dread, maybe everyone will finally understand the consequences of saving the animals and allowing them to board our ship in Fusion. So let's fix the timeline and kill those animals. I know we're behind, but hopefully this helps us get there for the good of the charity, for the good of the run. Let's ensure the galaxy is at peace. And with that, we're going to take a moment to hear from JHobz. Take it away.
Thank you so much, BGS, and welcome back. Summer Games Done Quick 2021 online. I'm JHobz, and I'm joined by MattApocaalypse, who's going to be running Dark Souls 3 any% glitchless in just a little bit here, not too long after Super Mario 64 later today. Matt, thanks for joining me. How you doing?
Thanks for having me. It's like 8:30 in the morning in Maui right now, so I had to, make sure I chugged my coffee to be here and like attentive and ready to go,
I appreciate it. The sacrifices we make for hey, I mean, whenever the schedule like gets further back, you're just like, okay, cool, perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I was actually kind of worried because when I like put my run down, I just said I will run at any time. And then as like the date came closer and closer, I was like, well, thank goodness it's like around noon my time because that lets me sleep in it's a little bit.
Yeah.
So
well, works out. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about Dark Souls 3. I love this game. Maybe for viewers of the pre-show, Irithyll Valley excluded. I don't know. But what about Dark Souls 3, just the game as a whole, kind of got you into running it to begin with?
Well, before I got into Dark Souls 3, I used to run Bloodborne. That was my first speed game that I ever did. I don't know. That was pretty rough for a little bit because my first speed game was a console game, and so your tools as a console speedrunner are very limited. I'm sure like some of the other runners that have run console games know what I'm talking about as far as like the lack of tools. Like with PC gaming, there's so many just fun mods that you can do to make practice just way easier. So when I built my computer like around like a year and a half ago or something, that's when I was like, I want to run Dark Souls 3. And like all my friends had moved on from Bloodborne to Dark Souls 3 and they were just like peer pressuring me. They're like, come on over, all bosses. It's a great time. You're going to love it. And then,
well, it is pretty good.
Yeah, and then I found myself running Dark Souls 3 for like the last almost 2 years. Well, okay, I've run it for like a full year, probably on and off. So Dark Souls 3 is definitely an addiction for me, whether I'm speedrunning or casually playing through or doing a mod or something. I love the game like a lot.
So do you like to hop between a bunch of different categories, or do you mostly stick to like any% glitchless? What have you done with the game?
I ran all bosses for a long time.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where one of my friends was like, you need to do something else. He came in one day and he was just like, are you still having fun with all bosses? Like, kinda. He's like, try something else. I was like, okay. So
yeah, but you wanted to get that 10-second time save on Gale.
I had to get my 10-second time save at Gale, and every time I got a PB, I still had like 10 seconds that was just waiting for me. I'd save it everywhere but Gale. And I was like the one like monster that was just staring me down. It's like, I need that 10 seconds. But I actually talk about this every once in a while, how true any% is the best category in the run, just because it's a really silly category where you just float around as a little flame and like fight AFK bosses for the whole time. I always say that's the premier Dark Souls experience when I run that category. So I did that for a while. And then eventually, like I tried any% current patch, and I did all bosses, no DLC. And then
you've bounced all over the place. Like you've done a bunch of different ones.
I just like the game. Yeah. So I just ran a bunch of categories, and eventually the community came up with the rule set for glitchless. And I was like, sure. It kind of reminds me of like the old NTD route, but with no glitches versus like the couple glitches they
Versus
used to do.
some,
And
yeah.
so
Well, you are going to be running any percent glitchless for the marathon today. So, what in glitchless is really exciting for you, or maybe what's your favorite boss that you're excited to show off?
Well, one of the highlights of glitchless, I don't know if this is a highlight for runners, but you actually fight the Abyss Watchers, which if you ever
Mhm.
watch like a Dark Souls speed run, most of the categories use this thing that turns off their AI by like manipulating position to put you over the fog wall, and it just like doesn't activate their AI. So in glitchless, we fight them, and they are quite the doozy of a boss because they have armored attacks that will just kill you. They have like it's like a gank fight right at the beginning where there's like multiple bosses that try to kill you at the beginning. Um he'll roll around for no reason while you try to like track him down. And then there's like the second phase of the fight where he has these really nice lingering hitboxes with his flame trails of his sword. And there's one particular attack that'll just kill you if you roll it incorrectly. Like because we fight him with like kind of limited levels. So I call it the pretzel swing. He like swings his sword like this, and you just die if you take the like full damage most of the time from it.
Yeah.
So I'll
so
be
that, I mean,
avoiding that.
yeah. Try not to let that one happen. And it feels. I think that one of the cool things too about watching a glitchless run for Dark Souls 3 is just how much an ordinary viewer can connect with it too. Of just like, oh, I've played this game, and they're actually fighting the bosses how you'd expect to fight the bosses and whatnot. And it's a really fun watch to just see the skill involved. One other thing I wanted to ask you was about the community for Dark Souls, because I know that there's a big, community with Speed Souls and all that. What has that meant for you in running, your journey of running Souls games?
Speed Souls has been like so good to me as far as running this game or running any of the games. They, of course, like the other game runners always try to like talk me into running like Dark Souls 1. I think like every other day is like, when are you gonna run a good game, Matt? And then like there's the like DS2 people that say the same thing to me. Like everyone, they always just like try to bring you into their game, and like they always are just like super welcoming with like tech and like sharing. And every time someone gets a PB, you post a screenshot of your PB, and then they post dog emotes, and everyone loves dog emotes. Lots of Franker-Z's and like
Yeah.
Wowies and things like that.
That's
And
great.
like we always try to like update the wiki and try to make sure everyone's like doing the hot new tech. Like, hey, have you tried the hot new strat yet? Like, hey, check this out. Oh, look, this is faster. You should do this. Oh, hey, we've been doing something wrong for like a year and a half now, so maybe we should stop that.
Yeah, the wiki is actually helpful for myself when I was, learning to do a little bit Dark Souls 3 running. And I think that some of the mods there, like you're talking about, are really helpful for practice. So I appreciate that. Well, Matt, I wish I could just talk to you for like an hour about Dark Souls 3 because we would get in the nitty gritty and everything. But unfortunately, we are already out of time. So I'm just going to encourage everybody to please tune in for the run. Dark Souls 3 by MattApocaalypse will be a little bit later today. But for now, I'm going to let the host take it back so you all can keep enjoying Summer Games Done Quick 2021. Bye.
Well, thank you so much, JHobz and MattApocaalypse, for that awesome interview. If you are a fan of Souls games, you know that we have that bonus game incentive for Demon's Souls. You can add the any percent current patch run of the Demon's Souls remake to the schedule, but we still need to get quite a bit of money, little less than $170,000 if we want to add that Demon's Souls run and make GDQ last a little while longer. Now, there is a lot of love coming in for incentives, just in general. A $150 donation from Weg Bauer that says complete all the incentives. And we do have a chance to do that still. a $500 anonymous donation that says a donation incentive as hard as Demon Souls. Demon Souls hype. Of course, we are still keeping an eye on what we plan to do with the animals when we get into this Super Metroid race coming up pretty soon. Now, I noticed that it looks like Save the Animals has about a $2,200 lead on killing the animals. I always thought that the Kill the Animals crew was a lot more vocal about that. That is the faster way, right? I don't know. Maybe you can correct me on that. Maybe they can find their wallets. Maybe it'll close up by the time we get to that point in the run. But do remember that we are trying to figure out what we're going to be doing during the Super Metroid race.